Hi, how are you? And welcome back to my YouTube channel Course by Sid. So today in this video we're going to see our weather application project overview. Right. So on my screen you can see my weather application. So I'll just going to hit the backspace button in the search bar and then I'm going to enter the city name. So let's say I'm typing Delhi. I want to check the temperature of the Delhi, right? And then I'm going to click on this search button, right? So now you can see that the temperature of Delhi is 28 degrees Celsius right now, right? And you can also see this text mist, right? Now suppose I want to check the weather of London. So you can see that here the weather is right now is 20 degrees Celsius and it is showing overcast clouds, right? Now I'll check for New York. So we can see that on New York currently the weather is showing 26 degrees Celsius and scattered clouds, and also there is image is also showing, right? And I'm checking one last, right? So I'll be typing Paris, right? Now you can see that Paris, it is showing clear sky, right? And the temperature is 26 degrees Celsius. And at the end there is one footer section designed, developed and deployed with love by Course by Sid All Right Wizard, right? And in the background you can see that the color is changing, right? When it is when the background color is black, you can see that the text is appearing as white, right? Okay, so now what things you will need to require to build this calculator application is first of all you need to require this Visual Studio Code. So if you haven't downloaded this Visual Studio Code, so if you are a Windows user you need to click on this first one, and if you are a Linux user you need to click on the second one, and if you are a Mac user you need to click on the third one, right, to download this Visual Studio Code. Now the next thing which we need is Open Weather, right? Open Weather API. So if you don't have your account, you need to create your account on Open Weather, because we'll be going to use this in our weather application, right? And third one, for the deployment we'll be using github.com, right? So if you don't have your account on github.com, you need to click on this sign up button and you need to create your GitHub account, right? So okay, we'll work on index.html file. So first of all I'll type html5 and then press the tab button from the keyboard, and then after that I'm going to rename the title. So the title I'll be writing weather application, and then I'm going to save this, and then after that, after the title I'm going to give one link tag, and then I'll connect my style.css file, right? Here you can see that I have created three files. First one is the index.html file, the second one is style.css. Here I'll do the styling, and this is the script.js file, right, the third file. So here I'll implement the functionality to this weather application. Now I'll come back to my index.html file, and here before this href I like to give the type. So in the type I'll be writing text /css. So in this way my style.css file is linked to this index.html file. Now after this, what I'm going to do, in the body I'll be creating one div, right? So in div with one class, that is container, and here I'll give one heading. So here I am writing weather application, and then after that the next step will be to create one other div. So with the class search bar, so I'll be writing div dot serch search bar, and within this div I'll be giving one input tag, right? So I'll write input, and then the type will be text only, and then here I like to give one ID also. So ID I'll give search dash input and one placeholder. In the placeholder I'll be writing enter, city name, right? And then I like to give one button, and the button I like to give one ID. ID I'll be write search PTN, right? I'm giving this ID just because it will be helpful in styling the input and the button tag, right? So I'll be using this ID in my upcoming style.css, right? So within this button I'll be writing search, and then I'm going to save this. So after this I'll create one other div with the class weather. So I'll be writing div dot weather, and then within this div I'll give one heading, and in the heading I'll give one ID, right? And then I'll give location, okay? And after this heading I'll write one div, right? And here the class I'll give weather details, and within this div I'll be using image tag, right? And here I'll write one ID. So ID I'll be writing as icon, and then in the alternative text I'll be writing enter your city name in the search bar to see the weather, right? And here I'm removing this, or I'll just, after this I'll be writing p tag, and in the p tag I'll be writing one ID with the name description, okay? And then after that what I'm going to do next is I'll create one other div, and here I would like to give the name as here, and here I would like to give the class name as temperature, and within this I'll write one paragraph tag, and ID I will like to give as temp, temperature, right? And one other p tag I'll be using, and ID I'll be writing as unit, right? And here I'll write the degree symbol, so I'll be writing and deg degree, right? And then semicolon, okay? Now after this div I'll write br tag just to give the spacing, and then I'll write one footer section, right? So I'll be writing footer tag, and then here I'll write designed, developed and deployed with, here I'll use the symbol for hearts, so I'll be writing and hearts, right? By course by set, and then I'll write the copyright symbol, so I'll be using and then after that I'll use copy, and at the last I'll write all rights reserved, right, and then I'm going to save this. Now after this footer and after this div tag, the closing of the div, I'll write one script tag and I'm going to connect my script.js file, right? So I'll write src and then this script.js file name, right? So I'll be writing script.js file, right? And then I'm going to save this. So my index.html has been created now. Now I'll check with the live server how it is looking right now. So here you can see that we have created the index.html. Now we'll like to give some styling to it. So this video will work on style.css file, right? So first of all, I'm going to style the body, right? So write body and then I'll open the curly braces and then I'll write animation, and after the animation I'll write change back, right, and then I'll write 5 seconds and then I'll write infinite, right. And now before this body, since we have used change back, so we'll be writing the keyframe. So I'll be writing @keyframes and then I'll write this name change back, right, whatever name we have given over here. So I'm going to copy and then here after the keyframes I'll paste this and then I'll open the curly braces, and at the 0% I'll define the background color will be blue, right, and then I'm going to copy paste this 3 more times, right. So just a second. Okay, and here instead of 0 I'll be writing 10% and then I'll be writing 50% and then after that I'll be writing 100%, right, and then I'll change the background color accordingly. So here I am using aquamarine, and here I'll write at the 50% I'll be giving yellow color, and at 100% here I am writing the black color, right, and then I'm going to save this. Now after the body, what I'm going to do next is I'll style the h1 heading, right. Now the h1 I'll write animation and then I'll write text back, and this will also be for 5 seconds and this will also be infinite, right, and here I'll write font weight, that will be bold, right, and then I'm going to save this. Now I will use one more animation over here, so I'm going to copy and then I'm going to paste this, and instead of this change back I'll write text back, right, which we have written over here, and here we'll give the color. So at 0% I'll be using black, and here also let it be black, here also I'm giving the black, right, and here I'll give white smoke at 100%, right, and then I'm going to save this. Now after styling the body and heading, I'll style the footer. So I'll be writing footer and I'll write animation, then I'll write text back, right, and then like for 5 seconds and then this will be infinite, right, Now we'll use the font weight, and this font weight will be bold and font style will be italic. And after that I'll style the container, right? So in the container I'll write text align, and this text align will be center, and margin top I like to give let's say 100 pixel. Now let me check my index.html file. Okay, after this container we have this search bar, so we are going to style this search bar also. So we'll write search dash bar, open curly braces, and then margin bottom we'll be giving 20 pixel, and then we'll write search bar input. So I'm going to copy paste this search bar, and then we'll style the input, and we'll give one padding of let's say 5 pixel, and margin, let's say margin right, so I'll give 10 pixel, and border radius will be where it is, this border radius will be 20%, and then I'm going to save this. Now next thing I'll style the button, so I'm going to copy paste this, and instead of input I'll write button, and I'll give padding 5 pixel and 10 pixel, and here I'll give one border radius of 50%, right? Border radius of 50%, and then one background color, that is silver. Now after this I'll style this weather day, right? So I'll be writing second, I'll be writing dot weather, and then I'll give the margin, or let it be more specific, let's write margin bottom 20 pixel, and then I'm going to save this, and after this I'll give the width, right? So width I am giving 300 pixel, and margin I am giving as 0 auto, right? Then padding will be 20 pixel, and here I'm also giving the border will be 1 pixel, that is solid, and color will be white, and then after that I'll be using border radius of 10%, right? And one background color, this will be white smoke, and a box shadow, right? Box shadow 10 pixel, 10 pixel, 10 pixel from this side also, and 10 pixel from here, and then the color will be silver, right? And here I'm not giving the margin bottom, right? Let me save this, and let me check my index.html file. Then after that we have this weather details. So after this we'll style the weather, weather dash details, and here I'll give margin bottom has 20 pixel, right? And then after that I'll be giving temperature, temperature, let me check the spelling. Yes, this temperature, right? I'm going to copy paste this. Okay, and now I'm going to style this temperature, right? So I'll write font size, that is 24 pixel, and let's say font weight be bold, and then I'm going to save this. Now I'll style this, let's say so I'm styling this icon also, which is in the weather details. So this is ID, so I'll be writing hash icon, and then I'll give width as 100 pixel and height as 100 pixel and margin as 0 auto, right? And then I'll style the location, and the location I'll write font size will be 20 pixel and margin bottom will be 10 pixel. Now I'll give the description, and I'll write margin top will be 0 and this temperature also will style, and here also margin I like to give 0 from all sides. Then after that I'll style the unit, right? And in the unit I'll write font size, and here I'll give 14 pixel and margin will be 0 from all sides. Now I'm going to save this file, and then I'll come back to my browser. So here you can see that in this way we have styled it. Now let me check my UI. Let me come back to my Visual Studio Code, and here we can see that we are only left with the script.js file, right? So I'm going to work on script.js file, but before that we need to make some changes to style.css file. So earlier we have written 1 and 5 over here, so this will be 10 and 50%, right? It is starting from 0, then 10%, 50% and 100%, and here in this keyframe, that is text back, here also this will be 0, 10%, 50% and 100%, right? This I am highlighting it over here. And one more thing, that instead of this background color, I like to give the color only, right? And then I'm going to save this. Here also I'll modify this, and here as well, and this last one. Now if I'll come back to my browser, so here you can see that it is coming nicely, right? Okay, now I'll come back to my script.js file now, and then here the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to write window dot add event listener, and then within this we'll write load, and then we'll write the arrow function, and here I'll write const location element, right, and this will be document dot get element by id, and here I'll write location, right, and let me check my index.html file. Yes, this id, right. Okay, so the next will be my icon, this id icon, and then after that we'll be using the description, then id temp, then unit, right, and let me check if there is anything else. Yes, this search button will be using, and this search input id, right. Now I'll going to copy, write const, then icon element, and then I'll write document dot get element by id, and then I'll write icon, right, this id we have used in index.html file, and similarly I'll write const description element, and here I'll write document dot get element by id, and here I'll give description, right, this id we have used over there, and then we'll write const tmp element, and here also I'll write document dot get element by id, and then I'll write temp, which we have used in the index.html file, and then we'll write const unit element, and then after that I'll write document dot get element by id, and here I'll write unit, right, and then I'll write const search input, and then I'll write document dot get element by id, and here I'll write, let's say first I would like to write search dash input, and then I'll write const search btn, and then I'll write document dot get element by id, and within the arguments I'll pass search btn, right, and then I'm going to save this. Now after that, at search btn I'll give one add event listener, so I'll be writing search btn dot add event listener, and within the function I'll give, first I'll write click, then comma, then I'll call one arrow function, and then within this arrow function I'll be writing const city is equal to search input dot value, like whatever value will be there, it is stored in const city, right? City variable. And then after that I'll give one if condition, that is city dot print, and this is not equal to space, right? And then I write get weather data, and here I will pass this city variable, right? And then I'm going to save this. Now after this, what we will going to do next, so first I like to close this. Okay, now I'll create this get weather data function, right? So just after this search btn, I'll write function this get weather data, I like the city, right? And then I need to define one variable. Here I write API key, right? For now I'm just keeping it empty, right? We're going to replace this with open weather, but before that we'll be writing fetch, and this will be the, just a second, I'm just writing /https API dot open weather map dot org slash data 2.5 slash weather, and this u equal to $, then I'll write city, and then after that this will, I'll use this instead of this. Now I'll use and API ID, and then I'll write API key, right? Now after that I'll be using .then, and then I'll write response dot JSON, and then I'll write .then once again, and here I'll write data, right? And then I'm going to write location element, and to that dot text content, and this will be equated to data dot name, and then I'll write description element dot text content, and this will be equal to data dot weather at 0th position in the array dot description and then we'll use the temp element dot text content is equal to math dot round and then data dot main dot temp minus 273.15, that is Kelvin, and after that I'll write icon element dot src, and here I'll write https, then I'll write open weather map dot org slash img image slash w slash and then dollar sign. Here I'll pass data dot weather at 0th position dot icon, right, dot png, right, this, and at last I'll write dot catch to check if there is any error, and here I'll write console dot log, and here I'll write error fetching weather data error, right, whatever error will be there, it will be printed in this console.log. Now write this, and one inverted comma over here. Now let me see, some error is coming, so let's see why this is coming. Okay, so we have found this error. So here you can see that this is our arrow function and we have only written b equal to, so we have to write this arrow function, we have to make this arrow function, and here you can see that, and now there is no error, right? So now we'll connect our API key. So for connecting our API key, we'll come back to our browser, right, and we'll search for openweathermap.org. Then we are going to click on this sign in button, and here if you haven't created your account, if you are not registered, you need to click here create an account, right? After filling the details, your account will be created after clicking it over here to create your account, right? Since I already have an account, so I'm going to click on this sign in button and I'll enter my email and password. And then I'm going to click on this submit button, So here you can see that this has signed in successfully, and then I'll come to this API key. I'll be clicking on this API key, and here you can see that here I have my API key. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to simply copy paste this API key, and I'll come back to my Visual Studio Code, and I'm going to replace this with my API key, right? And then I'm going to save this. Now I'll come back to my browser, and here I'll enter the city name. Let's say I'm typing Lucknow, right? So here you can see that it is giving the temperature for Lucknow. Let me check for Delhi. Here you can see that it is thunderstorm over there and the temperature is 30 degrees, right? Let me check for Goa also, and here you can see that the temperature at the Goa right now is showing for overcast clouds, right? And it is 25 degrees Celsius. Now I'll check for Paris. So here you can see that it is raining in Paris right now. It is showing as light rain and the temperature is 15 degrees Celsius. So we're going to deploy this weather application on github.com. So here I'll left click and click on reveal in file explorer, right? So these three files which we have created, index.html file, script.js file and style.css file. Now we're going to deploy these three files on github.com. So we'll come back to our browser and we'll search for GitHub, right? And then we're going to click on this github.com. If you don't have your account on github.com, you need to click on this sign up button, and then you need to enter your email. After entering your email, it will ask for some details, and after entering those details, your GitHub account will be created. So my account is already created, so I'm not going to create my account. So I'm going to close this, and then I'm going to log in into my GitHub account. So once your account will be created, you will be redirected to this GitHub account, right? And then after that, you need to click on this create new repository button, right? And you need to give your repository name. So here I'll write weather app. Yes, this weather app is available, and here I will write weather application HTML, CSS and JavaScript, right? Also we have used open weather, right? So we can mention it over here in the description, right? And we're going to set this repository as public, and we can add one readme file as well. And then we're going to click on this create repository. Now after this, we need to click on this add file, and we need to click on this upload files, right? Now here it is saying that drag files here to add them to your repository or choose your files. So I'll come back to my folder, and then I'm going to select all the three files, and then I'm going to drop this over here, right? So here you can see that all the three files has now been added to my repository. And then in the commit changes, I'll need to enter one message So I write file upload, right, and then I'm going to click on this commit changes. Here you can see that it is processing our files, and then after that I'll click on the settings, and then under the code and automation there is one pages, right? So I'm going to click on this pages, and then in the branch I'm going to select my branch. So here you can see that we have only two branches. Oh, only one branch, that is one main, and the second one is none. So here you can see that we have only one branch, and we're going to select this branch, main branch, and then we're going to click on this save button, right? Now this will take some time, right? So let me come back to my weather app. And then I'm going to check my pages section. So it is still taking time. Here you can see that in the deployment, you can see that it is showing that deployment in progress. So it is deploying your weather application. This will take some time. Once done, this will come in green color, right? And the deployment will be successful. So this will not take much time. I guess it will take, yeah, you can see that it has deployed successfully, right? So if you can click on this GitHub pages, and just a second, yes, so here you can see that. Let me go back. Here you can see that on clicking over here you will be redirected to your application. So here you can enter your city name, right? It is showing 27 degrees Celsius. You can check for Paris or any city, right? Here you can see that it is drizzling right now. Temperature is 15 degrees Celsius, and here you can see that it is your weather application has deployed successfully. You can see the URL coursebysit.github.io/weather app, right? Also there is one more way you can check your deployment. You can click on this settings button, and under code and automation you can click on pages, and here you can see that your site is live at https coursebysit.github.io weather app, right? You can click on this and it will redirect it to this same page, right? You can check here also. I'm checking for Delhi, let's say. Here you can see that the temperature is showing 29 degrees Celsius, right? So thank you. That's all for this video, and if you haven't subscribed my channel, so I request you to kindly please subscribe it, so that you can get the latest update from this channel, and you can also get more projects like this. Thank you. That's all.